In the headlines, again, Yahya Bello absent as court begins arraignment. Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission seals Abuja Chinese Supermarket. 4,000 displaced as Anambra State government demolishes illegal structures in Onitsha. And away from Nigeria, 10 killed as 2 Malaysian military helicopters collide. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us and the details. The immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, is absent from court for his arraignment on a 19-count charge of alleged money laundering to the tune of 84 billion naira. The security at the Federal High Court in Abuja was watertight and manned by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, and men of the Nigerian Police Force. At the beginning of the proceedings, Bello was noted as absent before Justice Emeka Wite of the Federal High Court. Justice Wite had on 18th April adjourned for ruling on substituted service of the charge on the former governor, who the EFCC alleges is evading service. The Federal Capital Territory High Court, APO, on Monday adjourned till May 15 to rule on the preliminary objection of a former Minister of Power and Steel, Dr. Olu Agunloye. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is prosecuting Agunloye on a 7-count charge. The 7-count charge bordered on forgery, disobedience of presidential order, and corruption. The defendant, however, pleaded not guilty to the charge. Agunloye's counsel, Adeola Adedipe San, informed the court that the EFCC lacked the power to prosecute his client, while he claimed that, contrary to the constitutional provision, the Attorney General of the Federation did not give EFCC the fiat to investigate and institute proceedings in the case against him. Moving on from that, we have the controversial cross-dresser Idris Olarewaju Akuneye, alias the Bobrisky, has appealed against the 6 months imprisonment imposed on him by the Federal High Court in Lagos, which convicted him of charges of abuse of naira. In the appeal lodged on his behalf by his lawyer Bimbo Kusanu, Bobrisky wants the Court of Appeal to convert the 6-month imprisonment to 50,000 naira fine on each of the 4 counts that he was convicted of. He averred that the sentence imposed by the trial court against him was punitive, contrary to the mandatory provisions of the Administration of Criminal Justice Law on sentencing. He stated that the trial court did not consider the positive antecedent of the appellant, who did not waste the precious judicial resources of the trial court when he pleaded guilty to the charge. Justice Abimbola Awogboro had on April 12, 2024, sentenced Bobrisky to 6 months imprisonment without an option of fine for abusing of naira by spraying the currency at a party, leading to mutilation. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will today depart Abuja for the Kingdom of the Netherlands and afterwards Saudi Arabia on an official visit and to attend the World Economic Forum. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, on Monday said the official visit was on the invitation of the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Mark Rutte. Ngelale said while in the Netherlands, the president will participate in the Nigerian-Dutch Business and Investment Forum that will bring together heads of conglomerates and organizations in both countries to explore opportunities for collaboration and partnerships, especially in agriculture and water management, towards innovative solutions for sustainable farming practices. After his engagement in the Netherlands, President Tinubu will proceed to attend a special World Economic Forum meeting scheduled for April 28 and 29 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The president's spokesman noted that at the World Economic Forum meeting, which focuses on global collaboration, growth and energy for development, President Tinubu and his entourage will use the opportunity of the gathering of over 1,000 leaders from business, government and academia to engage in discussions in furtherance of his renewed hope agenda for the country. The former leaders and major stakeholders in the country have all agreed that a well-funded and well-equipped state police can guarantee peace in the country. They are also suggesting that for an effective and efficient police, areas of concerns raised by most Nigerians must be addressed through thorough amendments of the Police Act. They made this known at a one-day national dialogue on state policing organized by the 10th House of Assembly and held on Monday in Abuja. The report.
State policing has been in the national discourse for some time now owing to the high rate of insecurity across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Though successive governments have tinkered with the idea of establishing state police as a way of tackling the constant spate of kidnapping, herdsmen attacks, banditry and other forms of criminality, issues of political hijacking have often stalled the idea. However, the high rate of insecurity in the country has changed the narrative, as most of the stakeholders, including the presidency and past President Goodluck Jonathan, as well as former head of state Abdulsalam Abubakar, giving their nods. While acknowledging that state policing was long overdue, they advised the country to successfully operate state policing by applying the nation's peculiar situation, such as adopting the border force, the Coastal Guard, and engaging local traditional authorities.
His Excellency, Mr. President, primarily believes that the path to effective security is through adaptive reforms, catering to our diverse nation's unique needs and circumstances. This can only be achieved by carefully reviewing various models and options best suited to Nigeria's context.
I think as much as we are talking of establishing state police, we should also look into the role vis-a-vis of our royal fathers.
You cannot give your police a weapon that will kill at maybe 50 meters range. Then the criminal has a weapon that will kill 100-meter range.
Earlier, the conveners of the National Dialogue, Speakers Tajuddin Abbas and his deputy Benjamin Kalu, explained why the discourse for state policing has become necessary at this critical time in the nation's history.
As we engage, issues to consider may include, but not limited to, the following: the desirability or otherwise of state policing, the time frame for a transition if deemed desirable, suitable model or models for Nigeria that account for context and diversity, appropriate legal and institutional frameworks, essential safeguards against abuse.
We must draw the line because to have functional police, state police, we must have a strong federal police. But let us never forget the power of state police should never be used as a tool of oppression.
Certainly we do expect and hope that the review of the Constitution that will happen will produce some significant difference in the way that the country is policed. And I think at that stage, we'll all agree that National Assembly would have done justice to this.
However, the Nigerian police in its submission believes that by adequately funding the police as well as merging the NSCDC and Federal Road Safety Corps into a department under the force, the police will address the challenges of adequately policing the country.
It is the submission of the leadership of the Nigerian police force that Nigeria is yet to mature and ready for the establishment of state-controlled police.
To achieve this, we must analyze the current legal and constitutional framework governing policing in Nigeria, discuss necessary amendments for the establishment of state police forces, and ensure checks and balances are in place to prevent any abuse of power.
The theme of the National Dialogue is Pathways to Peace, Reimagining Policing in Nigeria.
The House of Representatives Committee on Defense will on Thursday hold an investigative hearing into the incident leading to the gruesome murder of 17 military personnel in the Okwama community of Ugeli South local government area of Delta State. A statement jointly signed by the House Committee on Defense, Babajimi Benson, and the clerk of the House Committee on Defense, Musa Aliyu, called on members of the public and interested parties to provide the House Committee with useful information on the incident during the hearing. Reports said the investigative hearing will be held at the Government House Annex Edjegba in Warri South local government area. The military men of the 181 Amphibious Battalion, including a lieutenant colonel, major, 2 majors, and a captain, were on a peacekeeping mission to Okwama community when they were ambushed and killed by hoodlums on March 14th. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has sealed the Abuja-based Chinese supermarket located within the China General Chamber of Commerce in Abuja. The development followed allegations of discriminatory practices against Nigerians. The FCCPC officials shut the supermarket when they stormed the premises on Monday. The Commission's officials sealed up the place after interrogating Nigerian workers at the supermarket. This was as facilities workers at the store disclosed that the owner of the supermarket had fled the premises. Meanwhile, the owner of the Abuja-based Chinese supermarket criticized for barring Nigerians and restricting entry to Chinese nationals has refuted claims that her store is only meant for a specific group of people. She also clarified that her establishment is not a supermarket, but rather a retail shop aimed at meeting the essential needs of her local communities. Liu Bei disclosed this in a personal signed statement on Tuesday, noting that she felt scared seeing a lot of people she doesn't know in front of her store. Her reaction followed a summon notice and threats of sanction by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission on Monday after it sealed her store. Trust TV on Monday reported that the supermarket had implemented a controversial policy restricting entry solely to Chinese nationals, excluding Nigerians from patronizing the establishment. The authorities of Onitsha South local government area of Anambra State have demolished illegal structures and shanties along the bank of River Niger by Niger Street, Fege, Onitsha. The exercise, which started on Sunday and continued on Monday, saw the demolition of machine houses, stores, and sand beaches of sand miners and traders doing business along the area. The demolition affected several equipment houses, shops, and business premises, and it is coming barely a month after over 2,300 shops in the same area were demolished by the council area. The demolition was supervised by the chairman of Onitsha South local government area, Emeka Oji, along with over 15 operatives of the Anambra State Vigilante Service. Speaking during the exercise, Oji re-emphasized the state government's determination towards reclaiming the land from the present occupiers. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up, Katsina residents grappled with blackout, collapsed businesses as concerns over electricity supply. This and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Trust News Update. Here's a recap of our top stories. We brought you Yahya Bello absent again as court begins arraignment. And Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission seals Abuja Chinese Supermarket. Moving on to more stories, the president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, has thrown his support behind the federal government's call for adoption of 18 years as the entry age for admission into universities and other tertiary institutions of learning. The president described the move as a welcome development. The Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, on Monday accused the underage student of being responsible for some of the problems being encountered in higher institutions. The standard admission age currently set by most tertiary institutions in the country is 16 years unless a candidate is certified as gifted. Residents of Katsina State have decried the shortage of electricity supply in the state, saying the situation has resulted in the collapse of businesses and also the businesses that rely on power. Abdullahi Amadi reports that people in many areas of Katsina City are abandoning their businesses due to epileptic electricity supply, which has resulted in serious losses. His report.
According to business operators, they hardly get 30 minutes of uninterrupted electricity supply in a day, a situation they said is forcing many out of business, wondering what would have been the problem with the Kano Electricity Distribution Company, KETCO. Welders, restaurant operators, cold room operators, as well as millers are seriously feeling the impact of the epileptic electricity supply, especially in the Katsina metropolis.
The shortage of power has really affected so many businesses. In fact, it affected the whole thing in Katsina State because, you see, like my own business, the restaurant business, you cannot store anything because there is no power. You cannot even, you don't even have cold water to give customers. You see, it's affecting a lot of things.
This problem has compounded our suffering and made life unbearable. Poor electricity supply has led to water shortages at this time that fuel is already beyond the reach of the common man. Today, petrol sells between 750 to 820 naira per liter. What do you expect the common man to do? The suffering is too much. I appeal to the state government to prevail on KETCO to fix whatever needs to be fixed so that residents can enjoy power supply. As it stands, we have been made poor due to the economic downturn at the moment. I don't know where to start from right now, because any business that relies on electricity supply will die a natural death. These frustrated residents who are alleging that the epileptic electricity supply is only peculiar to the city are asking KETCO to explain what is behind the blackout, as residents outside the state capital are not subjected to this untold hardship. In most of the areas, residents spend over 48 hours without electricity supply, despite excessive heat from harsh weather conditions reaching up to 42 degrees Celsius at the moment.
What is available for KETCO, what we are expected to be allocated from the national grid is the 268. But as of today, 22nd, I can tell you what we actually receive from the transmission through, from the embed through transmission is 182.
This unhealthy electricity supply is subjecting residents to untold hardship, forcing many to seek alternative sources of power, while others are left finding relief under trees during the day. The situation has also affected almost every sector in the city, especially water suppliers, with a jerrycan of water selling between 100 to 120 naira only. Public commentators in Katsina are asking the state government to get to the root of the problem, as businesses are collapsing and pushing many to adverse conditions. Abdullahi Ismail Amadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
following the recent rebound of the naira against the dollar, the price of a 50-kilogram bag of rice has dropped to an average of 67,000 naira in Lagos, Abuja, Ogun, and others from about 90,000 naira in February 2024. In communities close to the borders, reports said the staple was selling at a much lower rate compared to what was obtained in the cities. According to reports, in Ogun border communities like Imeko, Idiroko, Ojaoda, and others, a bag of rice was selling for around 49,000 naira or below. Report further added that the prices of foreign parboiled rice had dropped more than those of local brands. Away from Nigeria, 2 Malaysian military helicopters collided and crashed during a training session on Tuesday, killing all 10 crew on board. Senior Operations Commander from the Fire and Rescue Department, Sohaimi Muhammad Sohail, said the 2 helicopters collided during flight training. One of the choppers was seen clipping the rear rotor of another helicopter, causing both to go into a tailspin and crash. The 2 helicopters involved were a Eurocopter Fennec and an Augusta Westland AW139. The Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim sent his condolences to the families of the victims, saying the nation mourns the heart-wrenching and soul-wrenching tragedy. In sports, following her distinctive performance this season, Nigeria's Super Falcons goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie has been nominated for the Goalkeeper of the Year award in France. The 22-year-old has become one of the big revelations this season in France, with superb performances both in the domestic league and in Europe. She made a big impression in Europe after she single-handedly eliminated Arsenal from the Women's UEFA Champions League. Nnadozie will battle Olympic Lions Christian Endler and Katarzyna Kierziernek of Paris SG for the award. The short stopper was voted Player of the Month for March in the French D1 Academy. Inter Milan sealed the Serie A title on Monday after beating AC Milan 2-1 and creating an unassailable lead at the top of the league with their 6th straight derby victory. Goals from Francisco Acerbi and Marcus Thuram gave Inter 117-point advantage over closest challengers Milan and secured their 20th league crown with 5 matches of the season remaining. Inter Milan last won Serie A in 2021, followed by AC Milan in 2022 and Napoli last year. Inter have become the second team to win 20 Italian league titles and will have a second star stitched onto their jersey after Juventus, who are way out in the lead with 36 league crowns. And with that, we wrap up Trust News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.